Today's video is going to be a little different. This is more of a specific video. If people do a search on a Google search for this specific car and this specific problem, this video will show up. So people that are subscribed to my channel, this is a little bit different than what you're used to. But anyway, here it is. This is 2011, I believe, or 12 Volkswagen Jetta sport wagon, and it has the panoramic top in it. And what we're going to do is the inside of the car floorboard has been getting wet, and it causes all of the windows in the car to fog up. And there's literally standing water in the floorboard. And this can be front and back. Now what the problem is there's drains that go from this panoramic top, and they go down the inside of the car, through the kick panels, and out behind the fenders. Now, of course, the dealer doesn't want to tell you this because they want to charge you outrageous amounts to clean this stuff out. But if you have water in your floorboards, this is the first thing to check. It's very common in these cars, all of the Jettas, and you'll see right here, all of these leaves, this is where it starts. If you live in an area where you have leaves on their windshield every morning when you go to leave, if you have something on the front of your car, this is going to happen. And you can fix this very easily, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you have a Jetta, several of the other Volkswagens are the same way. So this is actually a TDI, the diesel version, but it doesn't matter. They all have the same issues. So I'm going to show you how to fix it. A lot cheaper than what the dealer would. So let's get to it. Okay, first thing you're going to need is a shop vac. You're going to need a shop vac. And what I want you to do is make sure your shop vac is on wet. And what you'll do there, when you take your shop vac apart, it will have some type of a filtering system on it. And you'll need to take that filter out. And what I do when I switch to wet, I always clean my filter while I have the filter out. You can do that by simply banging against the edge of the garbage can. Normally that'll clean it out. What you want to do, you want to get those pleats. You want to get all the material out of those pleats, all the garbage, trash. Now, you will want to empty your canister, because if you get water on top of all of that, some of it will turn into concrete. So make sure you empty it out. Also a good time to wash it out if you want to get all the, you want to get it good and clean. Okay. Now, we don't have to switch anything over on this one. It automatically is set for wet once the filter's out. Now we'll get started. Okay, we have the 2011 Jetta sport wagon, getting water in the floorboard, a lot of water in the floorboard. You notice this especially after going through a car wash, or after you washed your car, or after some heavy rains. Probably this is what it's going to be. You know, anybody that owns one of these models Jetta, you need to have a small set of Torx bits. You'll need a ratchet, an extension, Swivel ratchet is the best. And you will need to keep on hand. I keep them in the back. Keep it in the back of the car. It is a 32mm socket. You'll need that for taking off the cover for the oil filter to get to the paper filter, and you'll also need it to get to the fuel filter. Take the fuel filter apart. So these are things that you, if you're going to be doing any of the work on your vehicle, on your Volkswagen Jetta, Beetle, any of those, they all require these Torx bits. And I have a T10 all the way up to a T50 that covers almost everything in the car. And for this particular job, to clean out these drainage systems, I use a can of compressed air you can get at Walmart for cleaning computers. It's not the best thing to use. The best thing to use is some compressed air, like from a compressor if you have a workshop. You can put some, if you have a hose or an air compressor that you can pump air through, that's the best bet. But this works also. Sometimes it's not even required to use air. Most of the time, just getting all of the garbage out of the inside of the fenders, that usually clears it up. Now what I do, I get everything ready and I turn my vacuum cleaner on and I set it on the floorboard so that it's sticking to the floorboard but still sucking. Now you can stop and look into the vacuum cleaner and you'll see it's sucking a lot of water, because these things, you end up with a lot of water in the car when this happens. So I get that started and then I go and start doing the fender. I just let it set. Now the best way to do this is to take the seats out, pull the carpet back, dry it all out, and do it the proper way, because there's wiring, there's electrical parts that run under the seats, all that. But most people don't have the time or the ability to do that. They don't have a place to do it. A lot of people just can't do it. So, like the name of my channel says, this is the way I do it, and this is the way I do it. Probably not the best way, but it works. You can pull back the edges of the carpet if you feel like you need to get more, but I've done this a couple of times now. I've done it with the carpet in it. Now you'll have to, every time you get a chance, leave the car open, with the doors open, windows down, especially on a good sunny day, because you need all of this water to dry up out of here. The first thing we're going to do is get the vacuum cleaner rolling. I'll start that. Then I'm going to start taking this inner fender out. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do here, we got the mat out. We're going to get this thing started. It's going to get real loud. I'm going to position this thing in a low point to where it just stays. And then I'm going to go take the fender out. Okay, we're back, and what you want to do, you want to have the wheels turned so that you make as much room as possible. Depends on which side you're doing. So there we go. Now we can pull this inner fender out. Move this so you can get a good shot at what I'm doing. And you don't have to take it all the way out. You just have to pull one or two of these little Torx screws out. Now this is a T25. It's a T25 Torx. And you'll see when I pull this back, I'm just going to take one more. I would say that this is going to be full of leaf debris. Now there's one of these spots on all corners of the car. Now this will work for other cars also. You just have to find out where the drains are on the other cars. These I know because I've owned a couple of these cars and I've had to do this to all of them. And yeah, I was right. You'll see. Let me get a good shot of that for you. I'm going to take the camera here. We're going to get a good shot so you can see all of the debris inside that fender. Now to me that's a manufacturing flaw. I mean, that should not happen. These were cleaned out 11 months ago. Now I know I live in an area, I have a lot of leaves, I know that, but to me that is not a good design. There should be something that stops that stuff from building up. Something should be something there. So now I'm just gonna take my vacuum cleaner, my hands. Sometimes you have to use a wire coat hanger, whatever it takes to get in there and get all that debris out.
Okay, so just to kind of go over what we have to do this job, it's a T25 Torx, a can of compressed air, or even better would be using an air compressor with, or you could also use, if you have a canister for putting compressed air into. That would be even better because this can of compressed air, I don't know what they actually put in it, but it's actually, it'll freeze when you put this into this tube. It can actually freeze momentarily inside the tube. Whatever propellants they use is really cold. So it'd be much better if you could use a compressor with compressed air and a little chuck on the end, a little fitting. That would be the best way to do it. And then you can also use your vacuum cleaner to reduce down and kind of put some suction on that tube up there. Now, I have had water in the back of the car before. Now, while making this video, I did take all four corners off of this vehicle. I didn't find these in the other corners of the vehicle, in the rear. So I suspect they're only in the front and everything drains to the front. But I did check and didn't find those areas behind the rear wheels. Now, when you pull this little inner fender out, where I'm looking at now, I'm peeling back in the video. You're seeing that where I was recording the stuff that's inside the fender there. There's actually there's a padding in there. I believe it's for noise reduction. It could be to absorb the water that comes down through this channel, through this track. I know there are tubes inside the vehicle. They go behind the airbag. And this material, it's a foam type material. Now, it gets saturated. And when you squeeze it, it releases all of the water. So I suspect it may be in there to help pull the water out of the tube, the track, and to absorb the water. I know when I'm cleaning these areas out, you have to kind of put your hand in there and kind of grab that. It's similar to a sponge, and you squeeze that and it will release all of the water. Now, after making this video, this tube, I put everything back together, and the channel did clog up again, and I had to get out my air compressor and put some compressed air from the compressor in there, and fought with it with the vacuum cleaner. I've cleaned these in the past and they work just fine. This time I don't know what happened, but in the end it is clean. This is the process that I use to clean it. Like I say, you use the vacuum cleaner for up above and below, and you can take a cup of hot water, pour down in there, and you'll see it come out that fender. So all that's really required to do the job is the T25 Torx. I would recommend having the full set of Torx, so that anytime you need to do something on this car, everything requires the little Torx fittings. So you'll also need a can of compressed air, and the other wrenches that I suggest having, those are needed to do regular maintenance on the vehicle for removing the fuel filter and the oil filter. So I keep those and just keep them in the back, and not leave those in the car. I don't keep them with my other tools. That way they're always with the vehicle. So if you're a regular subscriber, you know this video is a little different than what I do. Although I have done previous car videos, I'll be getting back to normal, regular content that I usually cover on the next video. So, working on a nursery bathroom now, and I'll be giving an update on that in the next video. And I have a request from a subscriber to show how to remove a ceiling fan, a bathroom fan, and replace it. So I'll be making that video next. And if you're the subscriber that requested that video, it's on the way. I'll be shooting it today, and I'll edit it, and hopefully I'll have it up by the weekend. And I'm just going to let this roll. You kind of see the process that I have to go through to capture the videos. I have 2 cameras going, and then I edit down from all the footage to make the finished product. And you can also kind of get a shot, see at how I do this. You'll see that I'm standing on the edge of the car. I cover that in a towel, otherwise you could really scratch up that piece on the car. So it helps to cover that up. And once again, also make sure that you remove the filter in your shop vac before doing this. You destroy that filter, and sometimes those are pretty expensive. And I made the mistake after making this video. I didn't empty the vac out and put the paper filter back in, and went to use it on the nursery job, and it was the worst, foulest smell. Just a horrible smell. So make sure you empty that water out before you attempt to use the vac again. And here you'll see later in the video I show you an up close shot of this track, and I'm using the vacuum cleaner to try to clear that line out. Make sure that little tube is completely clear before I close everything up. And I'm getting ready to pour some hot water through the tube, and it comes out on that inner fender. And I'm just going to let this roll. If you're just here to see this specific job, you can fast forward a little bit into the video. I'm just going to leave this rolling so that you can see the whole process uncut. And then here in just a little bit, I'll get back to the cut in portions of the video. Also, you're just going to repeat the process on the other side of the vehicle. It's going to be the same process on the other side of the vehicle. I generally find that one side or the other is usually the problem. Both of them don't plug up at the same time, but they do both get pretty full of debris, but one of them is usually the main issue.
So you'll need to open up your panoramic roof so that you can see down in these channels from the outside. I'm going to go ahead and open this one nearly all the way. Alright, let's take a look. I'm going to look down in the edge. Now it's behind this little screen. There's a screen up here. Now it is behind that. There's a drain. In that corner. One on both sides and in the back. So this channel should drain out those panels. So I'm going to take a cup of warm water after I flush some air through here. I am going to also use the vacuum cleaner on this. I'm going to put some air down in this corner. And I'm going to flush some warm water down through that. Okay, we're going to try to get another shot inside that track for you. There it is. Now I'm pouring the water in there. It's draining right out now on both sides. Both sides are cleared out. Got all the water that I can get out with my shop vac, and I'm going to button it all up, give it a good wash. Now if it's going to leak, it'll come through during this wash. So let's see what happens. Okay, here's the finished product. That's what we got out of the car. That was inside the car. And there's still a pile behind the wheel. Alright, we'll button it up, give it a wash job. If it's going to leak, it'll certainly leak during the wash.
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. If you liked the video, subscribe. And if you hit the notification button, the little bell icon there, you'll be notified when I have new content that becomes available. I have a little bit different type of content, but same thing. They may do it another way, but that's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.